for thought in terms of, you know, this platform from the project has brought up a lot of interesting recommendations on for companies, for innovation, for research. So this is now a time for starting to wrap up the day on suggestions and recommendations, and I give the floor to Sieglinde Gruber, Head of Unit of Marine Resources, the Directorate General for Research and Innovation, to just, you know, wrap up and also add your own suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you actually for inviting me, because what we very often lack is real connection to the people on the ground. And I have listened very carefully to the previous interventions. And let me just pick out a couple of maybe bringing it together. But then I also, now based as well on what Rudy said, that we haven't actually met even before, I wanted to explain to you a little bit about the Blue Bioeconomy Strategy that the Commission has launched a year ago, and the action plan linked to that. So, when we talk a lot about sustainability, I'm always very proud to have my sustainability pin, the SDG. I think while we talked a lot about sustainability, it is now really a must. There is an urgency. We are the last generation of policymakers who can change and make sustainability actually as part of our daily lives and do something really which will change the lives for the people. So we have in that sense a huge responsibility. That will come back to this notion of co-creation that was really evoked at the beginning by Emmeline. Co-creation comes with co-responsibility. Co-responsibility comes as well with a lot of links how we really work together on the ground, top down and bottom up. And it is something that is really now in our hearts. Just before I left the office, I got a warning. Tomorrow there is a climate march in Brussels. And they foresee 15,000 people. Now what are 15,000 people? Is that enough to call really for the transition paths to decarbonize? So I leave that really in the room. I'm always struck when I see the small numbers. In order really to talk about green and blue, we have a total divide between the different sectors. We talk about the blue economy and we talk about the green economy. We talk about the Earth system and we forget that 71% of the Earth is actually covered by the oceans and seas. So this is the challenge that we have to bridge, and how we bridge that is going to be really our daily task. So in order really to look into that, we have a year ago adopted a new bioeconomy strategy which covers and combines blue and green. And this strategy has been developed by 4 Commission services. It was a co-creation between DG Mare, DG Environment, DG Agri, you would be surprised, and DG Research and Innovation. And it is really something that we put out together. It has 14 different actions. It is constructed around 3 pillars, which I just, allow me just to read them to you. It strengthens and scale up the bio-based sectors, unlock investment and markets, and I come back to this and give you a concrete example. It's deploy rapidly bioeconomies across the whole of Europe. You mentioned that there should be national bioeconomy strategies. I think in the Mediterranean we're well placed. Italy has, for example, a very prominent bioeconomy strategy, France as well, Spain as well, etc. And to understand the ecological boundaries of the bioeconomy. So that is also something very, very important. Now, implementation of these actions contain not only the green part, but also the blue part. And one of the really actions that we have launched is, was mentioned, the Blue Mate initiative was mentioned, which is an initiative which combines research and innovation activities across and around the whole Mediterranean basin. We launched a bottom-up initiative for a healthy plastic-free Mediterranean Sea. Now you might I'm going to challenge you, because probably you think that the Mediterranean is not the most polluted sea in the world. You will think of the Pacific gyres, but really the data that we have now contradict all this. In terms of microplastic sediments per square kilometer or even per meter, it's the highest concentration in the world, 3 times more than in the Pacific. So because of that, it is still really a problem. And we have launched this initiative, and I invite all of you to come forward. We work as well with Stefano and with others, with Alessandra, with many others which are here in the room. What we really want is to find out what is going on in terms of local initiatives, regional initiatives, to really combat this problem of plastic on land and, of course, in the Mediterranean. Because it has an impact, it has a major impact. We know that the economic loss is huge for tourism, of course, for the aquaculture, for fisheries, for energy, you name it, for the ecosystem management, you name it, but it is a huge, huge problem. So on the top is the plastic or other pollutants, but beneath, we do not have anymore a healthy Mediterranean Sea. And that is really connected with the land. In terms of other actions that we have launched for the bioeconomy strategy, investment was recalled, and we want to go for sustainable investment. We have put out a €100 million circular bioeconomy thematic investment platform. And it is based exactly on the gaps that you mentioned, Rudy. It's really the scaling up and to bringing research projects closer to the market. This will be up and running in 2020, and it's based on competitive funding, so anyone can actually apply. We are also going to promote and to invest much more in the skills and competence development, because if we are looking to bridge the gap between the blue and the green, we also have really to look what are our curriculums along the whole chain of the education chain, in the schools, in universities, in the vocational training sectors. How are these curricula actually constructed? How do they cater for what we want really to do and want to happen? I think a lot of things need to be done. So we also will fund some of this. And the Blue Bioeconomy Forum, which DG Mare has set up, was already mentioned. So these are just some of the really important initiatives. We also have to be very careful when we look into the use of biomass, because on the one side, of course, biomass has a whole value chain, a profitable value chain. But if we extract too much biomass, it has an enormous effect on climate change, because it is not, as I call it very often, the washing machine and the cleaning machine. Think about all the coastal protection or the algae. They absorb an enormous CO2. So if we extract them, we do have a problem. So yet again, we have to look into the circularity and the sustainability of this. So that's just a couple of important really points I wanted to mention, and I am happy to engage in a discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sieglinde. I mean, you are raising, probably most of us are aware also that the Mediterranean is in deep